Good morning or afternoon. I am Professor Fernando Quevedo. I'm the current director of the Salam International Center for Theoretical Physics in Trieste, Italy, ICTP. This is the institution founded by Professor Salam in 1964, and I'm very proud to be holding that position for the last 7 years. I have been asked to say some words about Professor Salam to students of the Abdus Salam School of Mathematics in Pakistan, and I will be pleased to share some of my experiences with Professor Salam. I graduated from undergraduate in physics in 1979, precisely the year that Professor Salam received the Nobel Prize, shared with Professor Weinberg and Professor Glashow. And immediately after that, I was pleased to have been accepted to go to the University of Texas in Austin to work under Professor Weinberg. Weinberg and Salam were my heroes at that time, especially because it was very fresh, their Nobel Prize. Of course, they received the Nobel Prize because of their working unification of the electroweak interactions using symmetries. And symmetries have been always behind the work of Salam. He was always passionate about symmetries, and then he found good applications to understand physics of the Standard Model, what we know now the Standard Model is. And after finishing my PhD in '86, two things happened. Professor Salam gave me the first offer. My first job offer was from Professor Salam, a telegram coming from Trieste to Texas, and I was very pleased to receive that offer from him. For different reasons, I decided to go to CERN instead of ICTP, but before moving to CERN, I spent several weeks at ICTP, and I had the opportunity to meet with Professor Salam. I have seen him before in Texas when I was a first-year student, and he came for one of these what's called the Solvay conferences that was organized in Texas. And he gave one of the wonderful lectures about the Standard Model and symmetries and different interactions. One of the memories I have from that talk was that he said that when he was a young student, his professor, his teacher told him that there were 4 interactions, and at that time, and we know now that there are 4 interactions, so the weak, strong, electromagnetic, and gravity. But at that time, he was told that the 4 interactions were gravity, electricity, magnetism, and surface tension. So he was making fun about the number 4 up here, but for completely different reasons. And that showed the level of education at that time when he was a young student. But when I met him in Trieste for those 3 weeks, that's something I have very vivid memories of that interaction with Professor Salam. He was extremely open to discuss. He invited me to go to his office. We had a lot of discussions about physics and about the importance about physics in developing countries, which was his passion. And I share the same passion because I'm from a developing country. I'm from Guatemala. And we always dream to have better working conditions for scientists in our countries. And what we were dreaming at that time when we were young, Professor Salam had achieved by creating ICTP. And so I learned a lot by just talking to him and his vision about the importance about science in developing countries and to the importance to support scientists from developing countries to develop their potentials to become good scientists, have opportunities to do research and work, and eventually contribute to their own countries. So it was a great experience for me. Scientifically, I always follow what he had done. Of course, the Standard Model is the masterpiece, therefore he has been very much recognized. And it impressed me that he wrote his paper of the Standard Model here at ICTP while he was doing all this work for supporting scientists in developing countries. So it's very impressive. He managed to have a balance between the two activities. Then he didn't stop with the Standard Model. He did a lot of work after that that has had a lot of impact. So one particular subject that I'm very keen on is the point about supersymmetry. Supersymmetry is one of the biggest developments in the last 50 years in mathematical physics. And Professor Salam with John Stratt, they play a key role in the development of the idea of supersymmetry. again, symmetry being one of his passions. And of course, the idea of supersymmetry is the two particles like bosons and fermions that we know in nature, they are related to each other by these transformations of supersymmetry. So Salam and Stradley's work was one of the pioneers and most relevant ones. They invented several of the concepts. First of all, they invented the word supersymmetry. Second, they introduced the concept of superspace, which is enhancing the notion of our space-time with extra coordinates, which are anti-commuting variables. And of course, that gives them to introduce the concept of superfields, fields depending on superspace. And their contribution is lasting for all these years, because that's the basis that we all that work on supersymmetry are using. So that was a key development, and he did that here at ICTP again, and after his major work on the standard model. And as you may know, the standard model has been closed by essentially the discovery in 2012 of the famous Higgs particle, that is precisely the Higgs particle within the standard model of Weinberg and Salam. So it has a lot to do with Salam in his original model of the standard model. And so after the Higgs particle was discovered, then we said the standard model is closed and something has to go beyond the standard model. And we still don't know what it is. So that's many of us are working precisely. What is it that goes beyond the standard model to solve some of the problems that we know we cannot explain, such as dark matter, dark energy, the origin of matter over antimatter, and so on. And the first article on the physics beyond the standard model was again written by Abdus Salam in collaboration with George's Patti Salam articles. That was in 1974, the same year where he was also working on supersymmetry. And this we can say now is a new step in the physics, because it's the first step of physics beyond the standard model. And so they introduced a lot of concepts like bigger symmetries, again symmetries, that generalize the symmetries of the standard model. And these symmetries imply several things, like the potential decay of the proton, and that's something that people have been looking for many, many years, and so on. So Salam was a pioneer in these developments about how to go beyond the standard model. And then after that, he developed other ideas like Kaluza-Klein theories of extra dimensions and so on. When superstrings came, he also got involved working on superstrings at the older age, and so on. So his work on physics has a lot of impact, much bigger than just his work for the standard model. So he's easily considered to be one of the greatest scientists of the 20th century. And still from the more human point of view, which is one of the reasons I admire him the most, the creation of ICTP has helped so many scientists, not only from his country, but from all over the world, to develop their careers. And ICTP has been playing this key role to do that, to show the scientists from any country in the world that they have the potential to be successful and they can contribute to the development of science. And luckily for all of us, the distribution of talent for science is uniform worldwide. It's only that people need some opportunities to develop, and Salam has provided that with the creation of ICTP. So he's, as I say, he's one of my heroes, and he is one of the role models for many of us, and I'm very proud to be in the position of the director of the center that he created. Thank you very much.